This because this is the year that something like that became controversial in our politics. Joining us now is Congresswoman Allyson Schwartz, Democrat of Pennsylvania. Congresswoman Schwartz, thanks for being with us tonight. I know you're among the show of force of women House members on stage tonight. What are the Democrats trying to say to women by putting you all together up there on that stage tonight?
Well, first of all, you could just see how, in some ways, real it was to have so many women, members of the House, Democratic women, who really talk passionately, I think each of us, about issues that we work on every day, feel strongly about. And as you know, you talk about a good bit, the platform of the Democratic Party, the positions we've taken, support what most women in this country believe, actually most men as well. And we're going to talk about it. And one of the reasons we're talking about it is because the Republicans in Congress, it's almost weekly, as you know, and you just pointed out, bring up some way of limiting our access to women's health services, limiting our reproductive rights, and they do it over and over again. Many of us who thought it was kind of settled policy, and it's not. And we want the American people to know that.
Democrats have long had the position that you described. There isn't the same litmus test in Democratic politics on choice that there has been in Republican politics, but Democrats have largely been a pro-choice party, but they've largely been quiet about it. Democrats haven't overtly campaigned on this and front-paged it at their national convention in a very, very long time. Do you feel like the country's sort of ready to hear an overt argument for choice? Republicans have largely had the stage to themselves on this issue.
Right. Well, this has been the position of the Democratic Party, but you're right. Certainly, I'm from Pennsylvania. Some of these issues are not easy. We try and be respectful of particularly individuals who have different opinions about this. And the question always is, what do you want your government to do? Or whether you can make the decision in the context of your own family and your own belief system. And so it's been a part of who we are as Democrats. Certainly, we've fought these issues. But there's no question this last 2 years with the Republicans in Congress, over and over again, finding ways to try and diminish our access to important women's health services, which include reproductive rights. We knew we had to talk about it, and we were willing to, and we should. And, of course, it is one of the many contrasts between the Republicans and the Democrats, both in their platform and who we are in Congress, and, of course, who the President and Vice President are in comparison to Romney and Ryan. And the American people ought to know it.
Representative Schwartz, let me ask you about one other question about representing Pennsylvania, obviously a crucial swing state as it is so many years. This year you had one of the legislative leaders from the Republican Party in your state saying that voter restrictions, new law on voter ID, making it harder to vote in Pennsylvania, would deliver the state of Pennsylvania for Mitt Romney. Do you think that the changes in voting laws to make it harder to vote in Pennsylvania actually may affect the outcome in that state? Are Democrats fighting that effectively?
Oh, well, we're working very hard across the state, not to fight the law, which we'd like to see overturned, because we do think it is moving us exactly in the wrong direction, which is making it harder for people who have every right to vote to be able to come out and vote, and certainly actively discouraging people. But we have seen a real reaction, in a sense, a positive reaction from voters. I think Democrats for sure, but even some Republicans who've said this really is an unacceptable law, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to make sure that every voter comes out and votes, has the kind of credentials they need. And so we're working hard to make that happen. On my campaign office, we have volunteers that come in every week and make phone calls to people and say, are you sure your driver's license matches your voter registration? And people say, I've been voting for years. I don't think it's a problem. We have to say, no, you have to really go and look at your ID and see if it really matches, because it could be a problem and we don't want it to be. So it is creating a real sense of a passion about it from the Democrats, and I think, as I say, from independent voters as well. So we don't want it to make a difference in Pennsylvania. We're working very hard to make sure it doesn't.
Congresswoman Allyson Schwartz of Pennsylvania, Democrat there. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Enjoy your convention. I can tell you're having a good time already now. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Where Governor Mitt Romney very obviously failed to go in the biggest speech of his life, for which he has received some criticism, the Democrats are going to go full bore